Hello, everyone. I'm Christina, and it has been a joy meeting many of you lately. Um, Tonight is going to be a pretty special live stream, I think, because there's a lot of things that I think you might want to know while we're waiting for some people to come in. I just want to remind everyone who comes later to not forget to like, subscribe, share, and always comment. Um, I want to make sure that everybody can also hear me to start off with. So I'm just going to go ahead and type a little message in there just asking if anyone can hear me. Can you hear me? Question mark. Hello, Christy. Good to see you. Awesome, 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 awesome. I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing some more people coming in pretty soon. I think they're starting to come in right now. Welcome, everyone. Um, we've been talking a lot about like the Trans-Pecos area and what's going on with the magnetic pole reversal lately, but there's definitely more to know. There's really a lot. I did some research, and I forgot to put the links in the description box, but I will afterwards, I promise. Where I got some of my sources from, and you might be surprised that this is linked to Bible prophecy. So, in a way, where science is going to prove God to be true tonight. I mean, we already know He's real, but this is really something else. All right. So, because I've only got um I have to use two computers, so y'all might be see me looking off to the side, but I'll definitely be watching. Low Earth changes. Good to see you, James. Alrighty. So let's get started. I'm gonna have to use my glasses for this one. It's like way over there. Right? All right. So yes, what I have noticed is that a lot of times when people talk about a pole shift and the magnetic pole reversal symptoms that we are currently going through on Earth right now, they often mention Noah's flood and Noah himself. And this was a guy that during the time there were mockers and there were scoffers, but they didn't know. They just ate, they drank, they were merry, and they knew not until the time came and the flood came and took them all away. And that is the day of Noah. That's what they mean. And that's what Bible prophecy compares the last days to. And I couldn't agree more. Hello, Adrian. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. And Suzanne's good to see you. Good. Thank you for the thumbs up, everybody. All right. Um, all right. I wanted to kind of start off with uh a basic kindergarten kind of scientific understanding. It's very basic of a magnetic pole reversal. But it was I took this from a kid's science channel actually sometime, but they said, that Greenland would end up in the southern hemisphere while Antarctica ends up in the northern hemisphere. Whether that's exactly true, I don't know, but I do know that that's basically what we would be looking for. So the continents would be in different places by the end of the pole shift, right? Okay. But they did mention that the Earth's magnetic field would get weaker before flipping, which it is. And before flipping, the weak magnetic field leads to the creation of multiple north and south poles for a short amount of time, which we're seeing. And they're saying, oh, this is just going to be that's going to be a short time. Okay. And I don't know what a short time is, but sounds a little bit scary there, right? But it said that species such as pigeons and whales will get disoriented due to their natural compass being off, causing die-offs for that reason. And compasses that wouldn't be quite right. Now, what are we seeing? A lot of beached whales, a lot of confused birds, right? Flying themselves to death, flying right into buildings because they're confused, okay? And the magnetic poles, that affects their natural radar, okay? So if you've been seeing that happening now, you know why, right? But we're going to get into a little bit more complicated research here by a geophysicist named Kathy Constable, and she has credentials like 2 pages long. Okay, very intelligent lady. All right, I'll be sure to provide the link on that. But she said that, hold on a second, just gonna move this up here. Yes. All right. She said that the importance of the magnetic field that we have is on navigation, orientation, location, which it influences people, animal, birds, and even bacteria. Okay. So we're talking about orientation even of bacteria. All right. It's a shield from solar wind, magnetic storms. Okay. And it was saying that the magnetic storms would be seen in the form of auroras and cosmic radiation. Okay. Let me see. Okay, yeah, so they have many earth science applications, which are plate tectonics, magnostratigraphy, which is basically the science of using a magnetic field for dating, and the study of Earth's history and evolution. All right, so they can date things, okay, but they're also saying that the magnetosphere affects plate tectonics. Let's stop and say hello to everybody. Hello, Trent, Bro Christians. Glad you could make it. Brenda, hello. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad that you are here. So what we're seeing here is that when your shield is going down, it affects, hold on. Ooh, bad time. Can we talk in a little bit, Keith? Okay. All right. Sorry. Sorry, you guys. What were we saying? Oh, yeah. Okay, when your shields are down, it affects everything in the world, okay? And that includes the tectonics, because with the heating up of the core and the pressure on the mantle, you're going to have the splits in the earth, and it's going to be shifting around the tectonic plates, all right? Which, also you would see the volcano. So you see how it kind of just ties together, right? Good. I'm glad everybody's here. Everybody's doing so well, and everybody's talking so nicely. All right. She mentioned a guy named William Guibert from around the 15 or 1600s that said Earth is a great magnet. Okay. There was a record of a magnetic storm called the Great Storm of 1989, which I believe they were talking is called the Carrington event, and it disrupted power throughout Quebec. Okay. Induction power lines, and you would see, because of the magnetic pole reversal, you would see auroras at low altitudes. In this case, auroras were seen in Texas. There was one in 1859 that resulted in auroras all over the world. Mentions the South Atlantic anomaly. But at the time that this was being made, this video back in the day, I don't think that they were aware of the binary solar system that is affecting the South Atlantic anomaly today. Hello, Daryl from Bloomington, Indiana. So very good that you're here. I hope I said hi to the Watchman. I hope I did. I can't remember. Okay. Everybody's awesome. Okay. All right. Scientists have just found a detailed record of Earth's last magnetic pole reversal. That's the title of another one that you're going to get a link to. But what I pulled out of this was poles may temporarily form at the equator. It can create confusion for migrating whales, because they can even get themselves beached because of the natural compass issue. So, I mean, yeah, you're seeing the beached whales, right? Can't figure out what it is. He also mentioned the Carrington event. And it's like a burst of energy that can knock out your electronics. That's why we have Carrington boxes. And these things can be made DIY, if you want to look into that, because we are going to have problems. We have been seeing issues with grids going down, rolling blackouts, and even phone services, websites, satellites having issues, right? Even we'll have internet issues if you haven't noticed, right? We're going to have more and more of that. So that's really important. Okay. Now, there was also a documentary a while back called The Great Earth Expansion Theory, and it had two women, which was, one of them was Dr. Janet Starhall, and the other one was Christy Whitaker. All right. And it looked like it was from 2011, and it's been scrubbed from the internet, but there is residue that it's there. And then, of course, the fact checkers want to say that it was wrong. I don't believe it is at all, and neither do a lot of other people. Okay. But she had something to say about the Gulf of Mexico. In fact, it's called the Earth Expansion Theory in the Gulf of Mexico. All right, from July 22nd, 2011. And it says the Gulf of Mexico is heating up due to a rise in magma flow, convecting, running like a conveyor belt under the Gulf floor. This is the Earth Expansion Theory, where the Earth heats up, filling the salt domes with tar, magma melting oil, and creating tar and pushing the ocean floor up. The tar bubbles as it heats up and it outgasses. This expansion lifts the Gulf floor, which displaces the water and floods the coastal areas, and also causes movement along the bordering plate boundaries and fracture zones. Texas is now having more earthquakes every day, including the 3.0 west of Waxahachie a few days ago along the Balcones. The Llano uplift will respond, as well as the new Madrid. Now, interesting, they would connect this to the new Madrid. This is the Earth Expansion Theory with a flow of rising magma under the Gulf floor. Right? So you see that all of the floors of the ocean should be having problems, not just the Cascadia on the west side of America. Everything, when you start thinking about the coral that started dying off some years back, that was all connected. All right. And so if you think about what the Bible said, it said that the seas and the waves would be roaring. Did they not? What was that? I wonder if I can find that Bible verse super fast. I think I have it written down here. As a matter of fact, I know this is really hard for me to really look. I could have sworn I wrote that. Yep, we did. It's Luke 21:25. All right. Don't worry, there's more. There's more to talk about. This is Bible prophecy for the last days. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Right? Okay. Well, you might be surprised that I was watching a video earlier today, and it was, I'm just going to skip ahead here. It was by suspicious observers called the Disaster Cycle Sun and Ice. And there was something that he said in there that really raised my eyebrows prophetically. He said that the sun could turn red next. Okay. And then, like, as the red dust, some kind of red dust comes out, that the sun would eventually turn black. Yeah. Okay. And that reminded me of the sixth seal in Revelation, where the moon becomes as blood, right? So if there was this dust flying out, I could see it would turn red. And the sun became black as sackcloth. You know what I'm saying? Do y'all remember that? That right there. Okay. And I'm telling you this, the apocalypse, the horsemen of the apocalypse, when they talk about the famines and the pestilence and all the things that are going on, what Jesus says in Matthew, those are all connected as signs of a magnetic pole reversal. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you think magnetic pole reversal, you might not think, yeah, you're going to have crop issues, that the seas are going to become more dangerous, electrical grids, satellites will have issues, you'll have plasma lightning. And really, what's interesting on a level you might not think of is that veils can be lifted in these kinds of situations, because the veil is simply, with the space that we're in, a matter of electromagnetics light, and frequency. All right. And when you have an upset in magnetics with light and electricity, that's what CERN uses to open doors. But it looks like just this experience, this scientific anomaly that's happening right now, could literally open our eyes to something that we've never seen before. I mean, okay, said veils would be lifted, so that does make sense. I mean, you would have to know a little bit about quantum science to understand what I mean, but it's true. Electromagnetics, frequency, and light opens things. It reveals things. Um, Now, let me see here. I think I just lost my glasses. Yep, here they are. Sorry. All right. It would also, you would see heating below the surface, like in the cold areas, like, Antarctica. It'd be cold in the atmosphere and in the air, but it would be melting from underneath from subsea volcanoes, which is what we started seeing a few years back. We really did, didn't we? So all the signs are there so far. All right. Um, we would see the dead trees, dead coral, wildfires, especially where there's magma plumes underneath, right? That's where you'd see a lot of the wildfires. And that, especially in California, is brought to mind. Let's go ahead and check some of the comments. Do the planet alignments have any impact? Well, right now, Jupiter is taking some of the debris, but it's really the binary solar system alignments that are having the impact. Because with Earth being a magnet and this other solar system that's connected to ours, they have this iron oxide huge body, which would affect our magnetosphere. And it not just us, but like we've seen, the sun and everything in every planet in the solar system, which it has been. There were reports that our solar system was warping, a couple of years ago. Now, but it would be sending debris our way. Okay. And we're starting to see it now. The thing is they might be able to tell you when some are coming close, but how many times do you hear a warning when, right before a meteor strikes? Like in Greenland, oh, it's going to strike. No, we never get a warning. It's just, oh, this house got hit by a meteor. So I wouldn't be expecting any warning. And they can hit pretty much anywhere, but there have been dreams, about one hitting around Puerto Rico and Florida area and working a tsunami up the East Coast. We've seen those visions. Oh, USGS, I've noticed that too. They're keeping super quiet. Hello, 10,000 Lakes, BC. I'm so glad that you are here. All right. Mark Rufner, hello. I'm so glad that all of you are here. I'm so glad. Hello, Catherine. Yes, yes. Okay, Catherine, that is actually very meaningful. We've been there was a few years ago that red dust showed up in Europe, like as a film on people's cars. And often we'll see like rivers turning to blood and river, but yes, it's an iron oxide dust. Okay. That's and it, when you start seeing that again, your dreams are already showing you to be aware, right? And an earthquake. Yes, there's going to be a great earthquake. Even Revelation 6 says that. I mean, of all the seals, Revelations, the sixth seal, had the most to say. It's talking about stars falling out of the sky and clouds rolling up like a scroll, and the moon turning the blood, the sun becoming a sackcloth, and a great earthquake, if I'm not mistaken, right? Something major has happened. It's like something has decided, okay, that's enough. It's time for judgment. This is happening. But, like in the days of Noah before the flood, this is how the people were acting, like nothing really was going to happen. And if they did, it's like, let's just drink and have fun. If we're all going to die anyway, party like it's 1999 BC. You know what I'm saying? But we act like that a lot too. It's like, we don't real we can see, but we don't understand what we're looking at, right? There you go. The ground was hot too, very hot in my dream. Yes. And Mike from Around the World was talking about, and this is true, because when your magnetosphere, when your shield is down, then the earth starts absorbing this radiation, but it starts radiating it out too. It starts pulsing it back out. And when it does that, it can even cause a heat that can turn sand on your beaches to glass. And that's what Mike from Around the World was talking about. That is what he meant. He tries to hint, but it just seems like there's a lot he can and cannot say. All right. And if you think that the magnetic issues are affecting just birds and whales and bacteria, no, it affects us too. And that's why you're seeing the irritation in the people. Okay. It said that the unrighteous would wax worse and worse, right? Because something is driving them crazy. It's a natural thing. It really is. You're gonna be more irritable. All right. Fireballs falling from the sky, right? And that is something that Earth Changes Channel has really been touching on lately too, is that we are to expect a lot of those. And when you look at Bible prophecy and how it said that the birth pains would speed up, right? Whatever we saw last year, it should speed up a lot now. And I mean, things were already happening really fast back then, right? We've got a magnetic pole that has split, I think both north and south now, and that they are probably supposed to wander. That's what these reports are saying, that it could linger at the equator for just a little while before things happen. Then you talk about a sun that turns black and the moon turning to blood. That's prophecy. That's the sixth seal. Okay. And if we're already going, and I mean, I'm telling you, I think the sixth seal is when the pole shift actually happens. And I think that that's what this report's trying to say. When you see that sun turn black, you know that pole shift is going to happen. Okay. And that's exactly what it looks like is happening. What would you think you'd be seeing if the land is moving and the sky would look like it's rolling up? It would look that way. Okay. So what we're seeing and we're getting reports of is precrustal displacement, which is also part of it, part of the magnetic pole reversal process. Okay. 2 Timothy 3. Let's check that out super fast, shall we? On a different computer. So, all right, let's check that out. 2 Timothy 3. Y'all down for that? Just know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with divers lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Yep. We're going to cut that off at verse 7. But it continues to talk about reprobate minds, and those come about because they took so much pleasure in what they did. It wasn't that they just did wrong, they liked what they were doing. All right. Mike from Around the World, right? There were other things that he was mentioning, just not just in the irritable people and the sand turning glass, and he was talking about how extremes and hots and colds would get more and more extreme. Okay, like from shade to in the sun. And that we would be afraid of storms because of the winds. And I always knew the winds would start getting bad. But lately, I've been getting a storm coming in, and it feels like it's moving. It hits my trailer so hard that you can feel it do this and move over a little bit, and you'll look and it's like 40 mile per hour winds, and it's just a storm. That was recent. That was like just a month or two ago. All right. He's been talking about a lot of things. He's been trying to talk about how there will be certain impacts. And when you talk about Bible prophecy and earth impacts from space, then you know that those rocks coming in, they have arsenic and heavy metals like uranium in them. It will poison the water. That's supposed to increase. The stars are supposed to fall from the sky, right? Okay, so we're looking at all four elements are affected by the magnetic pole reversal. So you're going to be looking for signs in the earth, in the water, by fire, and in the air, right? Lightning, birds falling out, blood moons. Okay, that's the air, plasma lightning, the earth, the rips, the earthquakes, the volcanoes, the dying coral. Okay, do you see it? The dying crops. And then when the horseman of the apocalypse was talking about how famine would be here, it's all there in the Bible. It was always more than just an odd grand solar minimum or some 500-year cycle. No, this is big. This is where it all started. And for a lot of people that were born for the last days, y'all ready. Y'all ready, aren't you? Because some of y'all were sent, not just born, to be here. You're going to find that out more and more. Okay? I'm in Australia and been looking at safer places, but found there extinct volcanoes everywhere. I wonder if they could waken up again. Yeah, they could, actually. In fact, I think what Earth Changes, if he's here, he was just talking today on one of his videos about how many volcanoes are in that area, and I'm pretty sure that there's a pretty big magma plume up underneath part of Australia going into the Pacific. If I'm not mistaken, there's a big magma plume in that area underneath your feet. And the Bible did say that that islands would flee away from their spots. Okay, so when you think about the water, should you be getting on a cruise ship? Probably not. The water should get pretty dangerous as the magnetic pole reversal continues. All right. And it should speed up as it happens. So, didn't it say in Revelation 12 that even the devil knew that his time was short? We should too. Okay. We've got to prepare more than anything our souls. All right. Yes, it does. Air, earth, fire, and water. That's right. God is cleansing the earth. So, all right. Let's see what else we've got here. Yep. So you would also be, besides the wildfires, you would be expecting the space debris impacts, which we just discussed. You should be expecting tsunamis. And I'm not talking just on the East and West Coast of America. You should absolutely be expecting it on the Gulf of Mexico coastline to all the way from Mexico to Florida. I'm not kidding you. Don't let people fool you on this. All right. You'll be dealing with landslides. And like you saw, California just had a pretty big one on the road, like last week. You're going to see those. You're seeing them all over the world. It's all tied together. The sinkholes, but we'll also begin to see new islands forming. That's right. Okay. So let's see what else we got here. So we can confirm a lot of things that the Gulf of Mexico and Texas is not exactly the safest place. And it might not be the worst place, but I wouldn't call it the safest. I would definitely say get off the coast. And I can't really stress that enough. Okay. The sea and waves are going to be roaring. Coastlines are not going to be safe. And I've read somewhere that the majority of people do live on the coastline. I'm making some coffee. All right. No cruise ship for Rogue. Eventually we'd be required to have the V before traveling. I know, right? Laurel says, I watched the flying foxes, bats the other night, and most were traveling the same direction, but some were flying erratic all over the place. You got to watch. They say that before an earthquake, that you'll see animals acting weird, so even if you're not seeing an earthquake, it's during a magnetic pole reversal, when you're seeing your bugs and your animals acting weird, then that things are getting worse, especially if you're seeing it in your area. It's a good thing to be able to be mindful if you're around volcanoes, to be aware if you're having power outages and internet problems. It's good to be able to know what you should look for. All right. And you would see crazy things like we've seen here in Texas, like snow in Galveston, not once, but a couple of years in a row. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see weird things like that happening. But the animals will often tell you, the insects too. And I'm telling you, the birds ain't flying around the Houston area, not like I've seen in the past. They're not. That tells me a lot. Nobody wins the race on the first curve, but many have lost their fire. Keep your eyes on the road. Aim for the narrow gate. That's right. Paula, she confirms that 80% of people live on a coastline because people usually live around water to survive. That's how the migration usually started, and that's where the cities came up from. Hello, C. Lynn. You're new here. You're in Kentucky. I'm so glad that you're here. Awesome. So many new faces now, and it just fills me with so much joy to see everybody here. 989 feet in Minnesota here. That's not bad. That's not bad. But still, there's a lot of talk about the Great Lakes opening up to the Gulf of Mexico someday. And there's a transcontinental rift fault line that goes from like the West Coast through the northern part of the United States towards the Great Lakes. I mean, there are fault lines everywhere, but a lot of people don't know about that one. And it's good that you're up in height just a little bit because of the water that's going to be coming in. Things that are going to happen are going to start shocking you. I told my friend last year to move, and he said nothing will happen. I know I've tried to warn some people too. And the problem here, where I come from, I came from the coast, the Houston, Galveston, LaPorte area. And they've all still got that mentality. I was born here. I will die here. So there's no real talking to a lot of natives around my area. But we can try. We can try. Welcome, everyone. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Oh, gosh. Earth Changes, he's so awesome. He's been just so instrumental in teaching people the signs of the things that are happening and the debris fields that we're going through, the impacts. We knew that those were supposed to start coming in. I was looking for that. But he has just been so informative. And, he happens to have a passion for volcanoes. So, between him and Emergency Management Associates, there's a lot to learn between those two. Like people that smoke cigarettes, what? I must have missed something. Yes. But see, when you put it all together and you realize the food's going to run out, the pestilences are supposed to get worse, that the waves roar, that at some point humanity's going to be at a desperate point, especially if a pole shift has just happened in the future, right? So of course the world might need a hero, and what they're going to find isn't really going to be what they hoped for. All right, which the Bible teaches about that, but it talks a lot about what's going on before that day comes. So I'm still looking for them to start rebuilding that temple. How it happens, I don't know, but the way things are going, as fast as they're going, it can't be very long. That's something we're going to be watching for. Christine, love and help each other. That's yes. But you're also going to find that people are going to become more sensitive. Like I said, we're going to have people turning all dark and all light. See, because when you think about it, the war can't happen unless it's everybody that, the new world religious system includes every religion but Jesus Christ. So it's going to end up being believers in Jesus Christ and non-believers only. That's how it's going to end up. And that's where we're going to have our strength. But because we have that illumination from God, because he said he would pour out his spirits, I believe that angels are going to be here. I believe that people are going to be prophesying and doing things like healing. And, I think that a lot, this isn't just any time in the world. This is the last days. This is the most important time, but since Jesus Christ that the Bible talks about. We're here. We have arrived. Okay. And the magnetic pole reversal, everything about it speaks of the last days. So we're headed somewhere. All right. And if something like that can affect your electromagnetics like that, it can open veils. Veils can be lifted. Things that were hidden can be revealed. I know science can prove that God is real and the Bible is true. I knew that would happen someday. All right, let's go ahead and check out and see if there's anything that we might have missed, because I think I did kind of scroll past something just to check and make sure, yeah, that we didn't miss anything. There we go. We were talking about there was expansion theory. Yeah, Mike from around the world, and all of the symptoms that you'll start seeing. So, don't think that just because the ground sounds solid, feels solid underneath you, that it's going to stay that way. And I think that is going to go ahead and end it for tonight, that we were able to get through so much of this. And I hope that it helps you understand what our planet is going through and what we're facing as time continues to progress with the magnetic poles moving like that, and how it relates to Bible prophecy. I hope that in some way that you see that God warned us ahead of time. He gave us the ability to understand it. He's watching us right now, and that everything, he is still in control. He's still on his throne. All right. And somehow he gave messages to ancestors of ours, messages that they couldn't possibly have understood. Maybe they did, but I know we didn't, not until we arrived. We are here. Right. So I want to, entertaining angels unaware. You ever wonder if you have? 2 years before rapture comes, your analogy was smart. Stars will appear, fall from the skies, the pole shift. Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. I'm trying to tell people the time is so soon we won't know the day, but we are so close, right? Well, thank you, Trent. I really appreciate that. Appreciate that from everyone. And I hope that y'all have a good night and that I've left something for you to chew on and think about. Love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. God bless you all. Bye. And